Hi friends, Dean here with Escape to Gaming. I've been gone for some time. I went away for Thanksgiving and then I came back quite ill, quite sick. I tried to film something right when I came back from Thanksgiving and the video file got corrupted with the audio. I'm having problems with my camera. I changed the SD card thinking that was a problem. It seemed like it was working at first, but I think the problem is the camera is old, and if you have too many video files, I have to delete all the footage out of the camera, and if I don't completely delete it each time I use it and make sure there's nothing in there, even though it shows I've got hours of footage and plenty of battery life, I get audio corrupted files where I'll have like 3 or 4 files, and 2 or 3 of them will have full audio and one of them just won't have any audio. Which is what happened with my Xbox collection. I did an hour and 15-minute video, put all this time into it, going over lovingly every game, and then half of it was like done in 3 sections. 2 of them had audio, 1 didn't. I said fuck it and just deleted all of it. I was so devastated. I still have not done it to this day. But anyway, it's good to be back, guys. I'm going to just talk about a couple things. I kind of go over kind of a quick year in review, which has been not great in the way of gaming because of my back injury that I had. Has really limited my gaming substantially. I mean, like never before. So it's been very difficult to play intense action-oriented games like FPS games. I can sit here now in my chair as long as I sit upright and don't lean back too much. But it's very painful. I can play for 30, 40 minutes and then it just feels like someone's got a hot iron on my back, and it's too intense even on the couch. So if I can play games laying down, like racing games or simple platformers or what have you, I find it's more relaxing. I can game a little bit longer and it doesn't hurt my back as much. So unfortunately my life has been kind of uprooted with a lot of areas in my life, and it is what it is. But the good news is that it's on the mend. I have some new doctors. I've seen a couple new neurologists, and there's hope. And there's multiple options. We're weighing out those options, and then you have to go through a variety of tests and treatments first to see if that works. If that works, and that tells them they can do this operation or that. And so, without getting into a lot of detail on it, there's hope at the end of the light, at the end of the tunnel, which is great. That means I can get back to work, I can get back to gaming, I can get back to a lot of things that I enjoy in life. But anyway, it's been a good year. I've had a lot of challenges. It's been one of the hardest years I've ever been through. We've lost so many family. And then when we went down to to see my family down in the Los Angeles, Southern California area over Thanksgiving, and then a lot of the people there, my wife's favorite uncle, who's one of my favorite people there as well, I look forward to seeing every year at Christmas or Thanksgiving. He was gone. His daughters, one daughter, in Florida, another daughter in Utah came out, and his son was down in, the Simi Valley down there. So everyone's there. Their fathers passed away of pancreatic cancer, so it was kind of a very somber, very sad time. You could see everyone was there pulling together, but it was tough, and then my wife lost her brother, so between my wife being sad and then seeing my mother-in-law just trying to fight back the depression, it was tough. It was really tough. And then here I've been stuck at home for over 8 months without leaving the house. The very day we left, someone hit my wonderful cat Oliver, my outdoor cat. They hit him with a car and then took off and kept going, and he was badly crippled, and he, poor thing crawled back to my house. I don't want to go into a lot of details, but waited for me to come home to help him, and of course I'm on my way to LA. I didn't know. And luckily we had a pet sitter, but the time she came it was too late, and the poor thing somehow survived through the night and then died in the night. It was very cold out. My next door neighbor found him the next morning, and waited for my pet sitter to come and tell me. So my whole time down there was just ruined because of it. And here I'm 1,000 miles away. I couldn't even be there to say goodbye to the little guy. So I'm just absolutely gutted. It's hard for me to talk about it, but it's been tough because of that. We didn't even put a Christmas tree up. I mean, I was so down and out, and my wife was as well, coming back from Thanksgiving. We didn't say more than a few words the whole way back in the car. It was just a really tough time for all of us. But we got back, and I didn't even want to put the lights out on the house, like I normally would have. I couldn't anyway with my condition. I'd have to have my wife help me do it, and I just, what, let's forget it. We didn't even put a tree up, nothing. So, but we had a nice quiet time at home here. my sister was kind enough to invite me to a New Year or Christmas Eve party, but with other family members and friends. I just wasn't up to socializing. I just wasn't in the spirit. So it was a kind of a quiet. We did listen to Christmas music, my wife's Pandora or whatever, and had little Vinny with us, and God bless that little guy. He's really kind of got me through this hard time, but he even misses Oliver. It's really sad. So it's been just a devastating year. There's been so much loss in so many areas of my life, but yet at the same time, the positive side of it is that there's hope. Because of all the stuff we've gone through, we can't make it on my wife's income alone, so now we're forced to move to state. I had to sell my truck because I couldn't afford the 3 vehicles anymore. I still have all the money from the truck. I just put it right in the bank. We haven't touched it, but that's kind of like a little nest egg. So if something happens and we need money for the house, or when the cars breaks down, we've got money we can draw from that to use. So I've got a good chunk of money in the bank, thank God. And then my wife has had money from years before that we saved, which I didn't even realize we had, and set it aside. So we're not doing too bad. We just had to be in a very tight budget. We don't go out to eat at all. I haven't been able to buy any new games, and my wife helped me get Wreckfest, a while back, and she just recently got me a game, which I'll show here in a minute. But it's been tough, very tough times. But life has its up and downs like waves of the ocean. You're going to have good years, you're going to have bad years, and you got to take the good with the bad, and that's what I did. I had a good friend, my friend Phil. I'll leave a link to his wonderful channel below. He's from Scottsdale, Arizona. His folks live about an hour or so from here, hour and 15 minutes from where I live in the Bay Area. And he keeps a lot of his car. He's a car guy like me. He's got a couple old, like a 57 Lincoln and a 68 suicide door Lincoln there. And I think he's got a Corvair, another really cool older car there. And then all those other cars he has at home. Because he's got limited space, he keeps some of his cars at his parents' house. And he called me, Dean, I'm going to be in the area. Could I come visit you the day after Christmas? I go, yeah, it's place is a mess. We get boxes everywhere. But I'd love to have you. I certainly would love the company, And so he came yesterday. We had a wonderful time. And he gave me the keys, said, here, drive my 68 suicide door Lincoln. It'll bring back memories of your 65 and your 66 Lincoln. I had a suicide door 65, and then I had a 2-door 66, which was the same interior and body design as his, basically, but a 2-door. So I drove it around the block and really enjoyed driving that 462 Lincoln engine. It was awesome. And I gave him a little ride in my Challenger, so you can get a little muscle car, 400 horsepower, see what the newer Challengers look like, so you get a kick out of that. But anyway, it's been a good year overall. I mean, in spite of all the horrible, just unbelievably devastating things that have happened, because of this incident with my back, it's kind of forced us to look at the high cost of living here in California. We can't make it, and we realize if something happens and we have to make it on one income, we can't live here. The taxes here, the cost of living is so high, so we're looking forward to moving to Boise, Idaho when we can. My wife has got feelers out for jobs, and we're getting packed just in case, and if we find something, we'll do that. And then, unfortunately, I can't quite move just yet myself because I've got some other things I got to take care of first before I go, which we're working on. But when the time is right, we're going to move, and we'll be substantially cheaper. I mean, I'll get into another video down the road once I move. I'll actually show a vlog showing the move and everything, and we'll save a lot of money. And when I do go back to work, my doctors have all told me, Dean, your days as a painter are done. Even if we can give you this back surgery that you need and this and that, you're finished. You're not going to be able to do it anymore. So I was quite gutted over that. On top of everything else that I've invested 20 years of my life in, I can no longer do, which is tragic. But I have other talents and abilities, and so there's other things I can do. They won't pay as much money, but if we live in an area where the cost of living is not too high, and we get our overhead down, and we're trying to pay the 2 cars off, so all we have basically is just my wife's student loans and just a mortgage payment. That'll be it. And if we can get to that point, we could live, very comfortably on. My wife will, may have to take a pay cut as well because they don't quite pay what they pay here in California, but we can make it. We can live and actually live a lot more comfortably than we do here. So we're looking forward to that. That's a really new, fresh beginning, which will be good. Looking forward to that move when we can do it. And I've got all my games packed, the game rooms. I showed my friend Phil, showed him in the game room. It's just nothing but piles of boxes and I said, here's all my Xbox collection, here's all my consoles, and I pretty much showed him where everything's packed. I've got like my PS4 games, I have the box, they're packed, but their box is open, so I can rummage through them and get what I need if I want to play a game on my PS4 Pro or whatever. But overall, it's been a good year. There were a lot of great games that came out this year that I would have liked to have gotten, but sadly, I can't get them. The good news is when it becomes time to buy them, I'll be able to get them really cheap, because the prices have obviously dropped in a lot of those older games. Other than Rage 2, and my wife got me Wreckfest, and then I recently got the discounted price was cheap for the Ghostbusters game. That's it. That's all I've had in the way of new games I've bought all year, or I had as gifts or whatever. So, but I got plenty to play, and I've really enjoyed that. And that's one of the things I'm going to share. Is I have a list of my top 20 games of not just this year, but of this generation. Everyone right now is going to be, my top 10, 20 games of 2019. There's a million videos of that, but because there's so much information on the new Xbox, X, System X, Series X, whatever, the Scarlet, Anaconda, I don't even know what it is anymore. Now it's just called Xbox, another confusing name. So I'm going to call it Xbox 2020. That's what I'm going to call the new Xbox, because it's just too confusing. But it is exciting. I don't know whether I'll get one or not, but I will be getting a PS5 because it will be backwards compatible, or at least with my PS4 games. Whether we'll be able to play PS1, 2, and 3 games, I don't know. It'd be nice, but I'm not counting on it. I think that they'll have the ability to probably download some games like we have now on the PS4. Some of the old Rockstar games and Destroy All Humans and some of the old Star Wars PS2 games. Certainly some of those are nice. I'm sure that'll carry over, but I do have a nice list, which I'll get to in a minute. But I thought I'd show my gifts first, get that out of the way, and I'll get quickly into the games. My friend Phil came by. He knew that I used to have all of the Tomb Raider games to the PS1. I got rid of them all many years ago. So he got me a factory sealed Tomb Raider, brand new. So now all I need is Tomb Raider 2 and 3. I think there's another one. I can't remember what the other one for the PS1 was. And then I'll have all the Tomb Raider games in my collection. So Phil, thank you very much for this. This is a real treat. I had three PS3 games for him as a gift. So it was a nice visit. We really had a nice visit. He was here for hours. And I finally got a chance to get rid of some of my Lagunitas IPA beer. It's been sitting out in my little fridge out there. I can't drink anymore, but I said, can I get you something to drink? Beer or something? Oh yeah, beer. Yeah, that'd be great. What do you have? I said, I got some IPAs. Oh, that'd be awesome. So he sucked down a few of those and helped me to get rid of them before I moved, which is good since I can't drink them anymore. But we had a great time. So thank you, Phil, for this. This was very cool. My friend Fred from the UK, who's been really kind, he sent a bunch of 7th Gen games recently. Well, he just, out of the left field, I went to my mailbox, and he had a little package with a few games, and he sent me, this is a game I've always wanted. I'm so thrilled. He's really got me some excellent games. He got me that special edition of Kane and Lynch, which I really am happy with. But he sent me this Burnout Dominator, which is a UK-only Burnout game. I read about this. I've seen reviews of it. I have all the Burnout games except this one. The only one I don't have. I think it might have been a PSP game. I'm not sure, but it's a UK-only game on the PlayStation 2, and it's an excellent copy of it. So Fred, thank you so much for this. This was an enormous treat. I never saw this coming. It was very kind of you. I really appreciate that. You didn't have to do that. It means so much to me. I've had so many good viewers that go out of their way to think of me, and I'm speechless. I really am. It makes me feel so happy to be a part of this community. And, being down and out, not being able to get games. Meanwhile, I'm watching all my friends' collection videos and their pickups videos, and they're bringing in dozens of games every week. It gets kind of hard to watch after a while, but I'm so happy. This kind of stuff makes up for it in so many ways. You also sent me, I don't know if this is a UK game or if you can get this here in the States, but Alone in the Dark, The New Nightmare for the PlayStation 2 as well. Now, because behind you I've got, Tokyo Extreme Racer 3 demo playing in the background, but because I have a modded Xbox, I can play both of these region lock games. I think they're both region locked, so now I can play them. And he said that. He said, I knew you had a modded Xbox. I saw from your video. So I thought I'd send you some games from the UK. So thank you, Fred. This is a very cool game. It looks really good. I love the graphics in it. Looks really creepy and kind of atmospheric. So very cool. And then on top of that, he sent me an Xbox 360 game, which I thought would be region locked, but it installed fine in my Xbox 360, and I started playing the beginning of it, so I know it works. And that's the Fast and Furious Showdown for the Xbox 360. I have the Fast and Furious Forza Horizon 2 special expansion pack, which is awesome. It's a standalone game, which I have downloaded digitally into my 500 gig hard drive, my 360 E model. But this is very cool. It has a lot of Mopars in it. There's a really couple cool challengers on the back there, which is pretty awesome. So Fred, thank you so much for this. Was very unexpected. You didn't have to send me the other ones you sent me, which was more than enough. And this is like over the top to send these, but thank you so much. These are going to have a wonderful home here. I really appreciate it. They're all 3 games that I am thrilled to have in my collection. Very thoughtful of you, my friend. My other friend, Michael, who's, I can't remember, I think it's Infinite Clouds. He has, sometimes I get confused with the avatar names and then the person's real name, but I think he's one of my viewers that leaves a lot of really nice, lengthy comments. And I think he sent me something once before too. And I didn't know it was coming. I was out in my mailbox, and he sent me, I've got one of them here. He sent me, this is a, what do they call it? That limited run games. Yeah, it has a little card here from Limited Run. And he sent me Star Wars Racer Revenge, which I have digitally off the PlayStation Store. And here's a physical copy of Star Wars Racer Revenge. This is one of the best, like a 1080p game. They redid it. It's the same exact PS2 game, but with much cleaner graphics. It looks and plays so damn good. Thank you so much. This is so cool to have this. I like these limited run games. Every time I've tried to get one of these, they're sold out every time. And I mean, I guess you can go on eBay and pay an exorbitant price, for those same games. People buy them and put them on eBay and double, triple their money. And I don't like to buy games at those kind of prices. But anyway, it was very thoughtful, Michael. Thank you so much. He sent me where's the other game? I've got it. Oh, it's in my, I was installing it. It's in my PlayStation 4 right now. In fact, I installed this last night, and I've got the other one he sent, Resident Evil 2, the new reboot. It came out earlier this year. I've seen nothing but glowing reviews of it. He said in his letter, "Oh, Dean, I thought of you. It's got zombies in it. It looks so realistic. I know you love the gore and everything." I don't know much about the game. I remember seeing like 2 or 3 reviews when it first came out. The graphics look incredible on it. I played some of Resident Evil 2 at a friend's house. I'd never owned it. I only had the first Resident Evil and played that on my PlayStation 1. The day it came out, I bought it. Then I gave that to my nephew. He came down to visit and saw it. And I ended up giving it to him. I'm a sucker. "Oh, Uncle Dean, this is awesome. Oh, here, take it." And I gave it. And I meant to get another one. I never did. But I even had the strategy guide for it. I think there was a strategy guide at the time, but I gave him that as well. But anyway, Michael, thank you so much for this and the Resident Evil game. I'll just show it after the fact static picture of the games here that he sent. Thank you, Michael. Very, very thoughtful. I really appreciate this. I gave away my analog TV. I had a fellow, we had the Gamers Expo, was really sick, and Steve said, "Dean, I know you're sick. Do you think you could make it?" I said, "Dude, I don't want, I'll get you sick. If I go in the same car with you, you're going to get sick. I'm coughing and hacking, and and it'd be miserable. I wouldn't be having a good time. I couldn't breathe. Very congested. I'm still kind of congested. I've got a scratchy throat now, but feel well enough to do this vlog, within limits. As long as I take my pain pills, I can sit here. It's just a little uncomfortable right now. That trip down south to LA was way more than I bargained for. I mean, way more. I had to take like a steady conveyor belt of pain meds to make that drive there and back. And the drive back, I have spent weeks afterwards in agony. I mean, I'll never do that drive again. That was a huge mistake. My doctor said not to do it. I shouldn't have done it. And I feel my back is where it was again. I've had to lay down for weeks. And of course, then I was sick, so I'm laying down anyway. So it's slowly gotten somewhat better. And then I recently had some faucet injections, which have helped a little bit, like 15 to 20%, just enough to like subtly notice a difference. Not enough to really relieve the pain, but enough to where I can sit here without climbing the walls too much between the pain meds and those faucet injections. But what those shots really did is they helped my neurosurgeon to know that because even if it helps just for a few days or a little bit, that tells me that we can do this. I won't get into the details, but we can do these other surgeries or procedures, whatever they call them, which will be more effective. So, which I am very much looking forward to. I mean, I am and I'm not. But anyway, so anyway, a friend came and he said he came up and he knew I was going to be at that expo. He's, Dean, you going to be at the expo? I said, well, I'm hoping to be there with Steve. I should be there with Steve. He goes, well, if you still want to get rid of that TV, I'm coming up from Modesto, which is in the Central Valley, a couple hours from here. I'll be up in Sacramento, and I'll bring a vehicle up, and I'll take that TV off your hands. And if you ever want it back, it's yours. I'll gladly give it back. I said, no. Once I give something away, I give it away. It's yours. But no, I'd love to give it to you. You know, I don't want anything for it. I just want it to go to a good home. He's been following my channel for some time. He leaves really nice comments. His name is Taylor. And he called me like the day before. He said, Dean, we're going to be coming up. Do you still want me to come by and get the TV? I said, oh, please do. I said, this would be, I feel really sick. I'm not in the greatest shape right now, but I'd love to visit you and with my blessings, take the TV. So he said, well, I'll be there in the afternoon once the Sacramento Expo, Gaming Expo is over. So right near the end of the time of the Expo, he sent me a text. Is there any games, what was those games, those Duke Nukem N64 games you wanted? I said, well, I actually got one of them recently, but I said the one I don't have is the Duke Nukem 64. It's basically the Duke Nukem 3D for the N64. I don't even have an N64, but my goal will be next year when I'm working again, I want to get one, and I want to slowly start collecting some games, not too many, maybe 10 to a dozen games for the N64. And so he said, well, I'd like to get you some games. I can get you that Duke Nukem 64 game. Is there anything else? I said, well, basically any of the 4 Star Wars games would be great. You just, whatever, you can come across any, that'd be fine. You don't have to do that. I mean, it's very thoughtful of you. He wanted to pay me back for the TV, and I said, it's free, dude. I don't want any money for it. I want you to enjoy it. I know you'll dig it. He loves the TV. He came back days later. The next day, he sent me a text with a picture of it, playing a PlayStation 2 game. He said, dude, I love this TV. The picture's so good, and the sound is fantastic. It has built-in surround sound. It sounds awesome. It's got S-video cable for, VCR hookups, everything. So he sent me, brought over, which was so nice of him, Duke Nukem 64. My friend Silverwings21, I'm sure he's played this. And then he sent me this. I've never played this game, but it looks really good. My nephew used to have this. I saw it in his box of N64 games, but I've never seen gameplay of it. And that's Star Wars Shadow of the Empire. Really nice, clean cartridges. So I'm really happy. Taylor, thank you so much for this. He brought his lovely wife. She's a gamer too. She had like a gaming shirt on. The two of them, they loaded that big, heavy analog TV. They brought up their parents' they had like a Key Sportage or like a little SUV thing. It fit in there perfect. I gave them like a blanket to wrap it so nothing happened to the screen. And of course I repainted the chassis on it and everything. It looked really nice. He was elated. I was so happy with this. This was like above and beyond. Thank you, Taylor. You didn't have to give me these. The TV was a gift, but it does mean a lot to me, and I'll cherish these. So I got these N64 games because of my good friend Taylor that was kind enough to think of me, which is very, very thoughtful. When I did go down, right before I went down, my friend Jeremy, who was the one that's been getting me a lot of my games for my game collection, he sent me a very surprise. Jeremy, I've got your gift here, but I'm sorry. I feel better now. I'm hoping this weekend my wife can drive me to a UPS store and we'll mail it out. I've got a special gift for him. I don't want to disclose what it is here, but he's going to really love it. It's something very rare and someone that I would like someone special to have it. And he's going to absolutely love what I'm going to send him. But anyway, he sent me a very nice gift above and beyond. Jeremy, thank you so much. And he had lovingly wrapped up each of these individually. And he had a little handwritten note in there, which I love the notes, as you know. And it says, Dean, I'd love to see you open these on camera. So right after I came back from Thanksgiving, before I got sick, I went and I was filming this with some of my gifts here, and I opened them all up on camera, and then the audio got corrupted. So I'm sorry, dude. I already have them open now, but I just put them all back in the box. The paper I threw out, but I've got them all here, so I'll show. So he sent me Duke Nukem 0 Hour. which I've never played. I want to get an N64 just to play this and the 4 Star Wars games, which I have played the Pod Racer. My nephew did have Pod Racer, and I played the hell out of that when he came down. He brought his N64. It was so fun. That's why I got this Racer's Revenge, which is the sequel to it. And actually a little bit better graphics, but it's really kind of fast-paced like the Pod Racer game. So he sent me this Duke Nukem 0 Hour, which looks really good. I've watched some older retro reviews of this, and it looks fantastic. So now I've got 3 N64 games. No N64 console yet, but I'm just thrilled to have these. I'm just so excited that I'm finally got a new system I can collect for. I'm only going to get a few games, just the 4 Star Wars games, the 2 Duke Nukem games. I think there was a Road Rash 64 I want to get, and then a few other ones. I'm researching. I'm looking forward to like finding maybe a handful of games. It'd be kind of fun to play in that system, and then eventually I'll get another analog TV so I can hook it up and play those old games again. So anyway, Jeremy sent me along with that. Let's see if I can reach over here. It's hard for me to stretch. He sent me one Xbox 360 game. This is a game he knew I really wanted. I already had the PlayStation 3 version of this, but my friend Phil, who just came over, didn't. So that was one of the 3 PS3 games in flawless condition I gave him. And that's a game nailed. This is one of the best high-speed, fluid action, kind of like a quads and dirt bikes racing game. The elevation changes in the air, the jumps you get in this are some of the coolest jumps of any video game I've ever played. You get like I thought Pacific Rift, MotorStorm Pacific Rift was awesome with the giant over-the-top jumps. Wait till you play this. You've got to get this game. This is a real hidden gem by Techland, of all people, who did the Dead Island games. But it has these, let's see if I can reach forward here. Back's killing me. It has these really good, massive jumps, huge air and dirt bikes or quads, over the top. I mean, multiple different ways you can go, but the jumps that you can get is, you really feel like you're soaring ridiculously high. You actually get vertigo. Excuse me, playing this game. It's so cool. Jeremy, thanks a million for this. I really wanted the Xbox 360 version because I have Pure and all the other ones in this kind of a similar type of vein genre on the 360, and it looks so good on the 360. It looks good on the PlayStation 3 too, but I try to play most of them if I can on the 360. He sent me some PlayStation 1 games because he knows I'm really earnestly trying to collect for the PS1. He said, I've never seen this one, ATV Mania, really clean. These are all in mint condition, all complete, excellent condition on the disc, everything. I'm so happy. He even puts like bubble wrap inside. Oh shit, dropping my games here. He puts a little piece of bubble wrap inside each one to protect the disc from dislodging so that way it doesn't get scratched. So thank you, Jeremy, for carefully, lovingly shipping and wrapping all of these. It meant so much. I was so thrilled and elated opening each and every one of these when I did open them. All-Star Racing, he had been raving about this. He found this recently and got this GT Racing, Stock Car Racing, Classic Car Racing, and Supercar Racing. There's a little thing on the back there. And it looks like a great PlayStation 1. There's so many PS1 games. I had quite a few of them, but it's amazing today to come across so many of these that I wasn't aware of. This is one I did have, and I love this. And recently I just showed in my PS1 collection video, I think number 4. 3 or 4, but here's the very first test drive off-road. This I had the day it came out, so damn good. You have the Hummer, Chevy 4x4 trucks, Ford trucks. You get a lot of all-American 4x4 action in Jeeps and stuff like that, and of course the original H1 Hummer. We did the one for Arnold Schwarzenegger. We're the first people to put a Corvette tuned-port motor in an old diesel Hummer for Schwarzenegger, which I get pictures of. He loved it. But anyway, it's a great game. I played the hell out of this when it came out. Now I just need to get the other ones in the series. I'm going to get all of the test drive off-road ones. He got me this VMX Racing. He knows I love racing games, and I certainly love the dirt bike games. Really good graphics for a PlayStation 1 dirt bike game. So thank you, Jeremy. He knows what I like. He knows I love racing games, and I can have a lot of fun with these. And he sent me this Snowcross Championship Racing. This looks really cool. I love snowmobiles. When I lived in Maine, we did a lot of snowmobiling, and it's such a great sport. You know, I've got friends up in Canada that like to do it too. And there'll be a lot of this up in Idaho too. A lot of snowmobiles and dirt bikes. My days on a snowmobile and a dirt bike are sadly done. But at least I can enjoy them in the visual realm with video games. Thank God for video games. You can live out your dreams even though he's an old man with a busted back. I can no longer do the quads and dirt bikes and stuff, but it lives on with these games. You know, I play games like Nailed or these other games. And he sent me, this is one I've always wanted. I remember seeing old videos of this, like retro reviews of that, and that's Covert Ops Nuclear Dawn. This is a very cool PlayStation 1 game, comes in a big box and a couple discs, and basically it's like a James Bond kind of a mission. You're like, I don't know if it's CIA agent or like a James Bond kind of a guy, and you're on this train. The whole thing takes place on a train. There's some kind of wonky camera angles, but you go through car by car, and you got to arm the train is armed. When it reaches a certain city, it's going to nuclear detonate, and so you've got to like disarm the train and get the terrorists off the train. It's a very unique, very cool game. Jeremy, this is a real gem. Thank you so much. I've always wanted this game. I've never played it, so this is going to go in my proud PS1 collection. So Jerry, this is like each package, like, oh my God! I mean, just keep sending more games. You know, it's so thoughtful of him because he knows I don't have the money. I had to stop my collecting. My collecting days are pretty much done. Now, while I was down there visiting family, I always, each year, usually around Christmas we go down, but I get to visit my good friend Cameron of Industrial Gamer. I've mentioned quite a few VRs to his channel. He's one of my oldest. He's been following my channel probably longer than anyone, since 2012. Quite a while, and I've been following his channel since 2012. He had his channel long before that, actually. He's got 15 or 20,000 subscribers. He's got a much bigger channel. But he's a kid who grew up on, as a little kid, started YouTubing. Now he's a young adult. I'm very proud of him. He's doing quite well financially. He's got a busy life. He can't play all the games like he used to. He used to play every single game out. Now he has to kind of pick and choose. He's got a backlog like the rest of us now because he's adulting and he's seeing what it's like in the adult world. It's tough. You got to pick and choose with the limited time you have quite often with the games. But I got him some very special things which he'll be showing in a video soon. I don't want to spoil that, but I kind of went overboard for him this year because last year I didn't get him as much stuff as I wanted. He's very happy with it, and what he got me, I'm just equally as astonished with and happy. Cameron, thank you so much for these again. I mean, he knows the games that I like. He knows I love the Sniper Elite series, and he knew that I wanted this and couldn't get it at launch. It was killing me. I wanted to buy this the day it came out and replay it. I have the Silver Star edition of this for the Xbox 360, but he got me the Sniper Elite V2 Remastered in 4K, HDR, fantastic graphics. They cleaned it up. It looks so much better. You can see wonderful comparison videos on YouTube. This is one of the better remasters. He really knocked it out of the park with this. I love this game so much. It even has a new photo mode. You can even play as all the Zombie Army trilogy characters instead of just Carl Fairborn. So a lot of new options with this game. I just started playing this the other night. It's so damn good. I can't wait to finish going through. I'm going through the tutorial over. This is much harder than Sniper Elite 3 and 4 combined, by the way. More linear, but tough. Once the enemy finds you, it's like you have limited ways. The other ones you had big open world, you could run and hide real easy. This you can't. I mean, you're found out. You better have preset all your exit traps and mines and everything because they're going to get you in waves. It's so good. I've beaten this game and did the Kill Hitler thing where I killed Hitler on the DLC. This comes with the DLC, everything, plus the extra 2 levels, expansion packs that you get with it. So you get all the DLC, everything, all the gun packs, everything in this. Such a good game. Not only this, but he was going to get me the new Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, but he said, Dean, everywhere I looked, they were sold out of it. The game is selling so well. Every GameStop had sold out of it. He looked everywhere for it, and he felt bad. I was like, dude, don't apologize. I mean, this is more than enough. But so he surprised me and got me the Outer Worlds. Dude, this is such... He knows I love this game. I'm dying to play this by Obsidian, who did the Fallout New Vegas, which I do have for the Xbox 360, but I never played that. Only played Fallout 3 and Fallout 4. But I have enjoyed so many. Carrot at ACG did a wonderful review of this. which was, it really sold me on the game. Then since then I've watched other reviews of it as well. It's done so well, and now I understand that they're going to have some DLC that's coming for this, which I'm really excited about. And they've had multiple patches to fix some of the minor issues they've had with the game, but it's relatively bug-free. It looks absolutely gorgeous. It has this kind of a Jules Verne, turn-of-the-century Victorian era version of sci-fi as they saw science fiction back then in the turn of the century to the 20s. Some people say, oh, it's like 50s sci-fi. It's not 50s. This is like turn of the century Jules Verne type science fiction. But it's beautifully done. It's wonderful. I asked him, I sent a text to Solid Rev. I said, Solid Rev, have you played? Because I know he likes FPS games. He goes, I didn't really like it. I don't like the guns. And he's right. I mean, it doesn't have the traditional assault weapons and the kind of guns that we like in Fallout 4 or the other games. But it looks very cool. It has a lot of like really cool, science fiction Tesla type weapons and stuff like that. So I like science fiction. This kind of science fiction especially I really love. And I'm really excited about this. Let me just take a quick break and charge my camera up. It looks like the battery's got issues. I had to charge up my battery real quick. I just took an extension cord and plugged it in. It hopefully will finish recording. Scott, I've had so many problems with this camera lately. The battery's not holding like it used to, so you have to charge it more frequently. But until I can get things squared away, I got to make do with what I've got. So excuse the interruption. Anyway, he sent me the Outer Worlds and Sniper Elite V2, and I was just absolutely thrilled with both of these. This is like a wonderful Christmas. To get two games I really wanted was just fantastic. And then he had another bag he gave me with a game in it. With a package in it. And I thought it was a game. I didn't know what it was. Well, it's too big for a video game. I couldn't imagine what it was. Well, years ago, I had said in one of my Escape to Cinema videos about a game, about a box set that I wanted on DVD, on Blu-ray. Well, he remembered and found a really good deal on Amazon or eBay or something. I don't know where he got it, but he got me the 50 Years of Bond Blu-ray box set. This was selling for hundreds of dollars. He got it much cheaper than that. Got a really good deal. And it comes with all of the Bonds from the Connery, George Lazenby one from '69. It's got all the Roger Moore ones, Timothy Dalton, and it has all of the Daniel Craig all the way up until Skyfall. Now, I had never seen Spectre, so my wife rented through our Netflix. We get one disc at a time. She got me on Blu-ray the Spectre movie, which you watched last weekend, which was fantastic. So that came, I guess, after Skyfall. So now I've seen now they have a No Time to Die that's coming out, I think, on Valentine's Day, which I'm anxious to see. I'll probably just wait till it comes out on Blu-ray. I can't sit in the theaters. And then while we were there, we saw the Ford versus Ferrari movie, which was brutal. I was in so much pain through that movie. It's the first time I've seen a movie since I've had my back injury. I had to kind of lean forward. I was just dying, taking pain pills and with my soda, Coke that I had with me. But I got through the movie. It was a fantastic film, highly recommended. I'd love to do a little movie review of that someday. Maybe I will. I'd highly recommend it. I don't know if it's at the theaters anymore, but when it comes out on Blu-ray, if you have any affinity for auto racing, you've got to see it. Wonderfully done, beautifully done with practical stunts and special effects, not a CGI laden thing like Fast and Furious, but Anyway, a wonderful time we had together. We went out to a nice dinner, exchanged gifts, and we went and saw a wonderful film. This was all before I knew about poor Oliver, and then, the next day I discovered that. So at least one night I had a nice time. If I had known about Oliver, I probably would have canceled that night, sadly. But Cameron, thank you so much. Through all the hell I've been through lately, your gifts were really appreciated. I mean, you didn't have to do this, but this means so much to me. I'm up to the next film I have ready to watch is The Spy Who Loved Me with Roger Moore. I've already seen the first couple Roger Moore movies, Live and Let Die and The Man with the Golden Gun I just saw the other night. So I've been slowly going through them in chronological order. Beautifully done. They come with these sets of like books, beautiful books, and there's tons of behind the scenes things of how they made them, like old featurettes from back in the 60s and 70s. They come in these beautiful books. And it has like 2 movies at a time. It has the year. So Dr. No from 1962, the year I was born. That's how old I am. Sean Connery was something to look at back then. From Russia with Love, my favorite Bond game. And it goes through each of the Bond eras. It's kind of awkward holding this up here, but so you can see each of the, now you're getting the Roger Moore ones, where I'm at now. It's so good. See, I've got the, oh yeah, here's the one that's out. I got it right out right now, The Spy Who Loved Me, I'm going to watch next. And it's just a wonderful, wonderful series. And so it has all of these, and then the other book has like all the Timothy Dalton ones and the Daniel Craig ones all the way to Skyfall. And then it stops at Skyfall. But I just absolutely love these, Cameron. This is the nicest thing anyone has got me for my birthday or Christmas in quite some time. It's such a wonderful kid. He's just, I call him a kid, he's a man. I mean, he works hard as a man. He takes good care of his finances, very careful with his money, but he's very generous too. Very, very generous. Every year he's like overdoes it. I say, please don't, just give me one game. Don't give me so much. He keeps just lading me with gifts every time. So I spoiled him this year with a couple very unique things, which he'll review. I don't want to spoil. He'll share that in one of his videos coming up soon. But anyway, wonderful gifts nonetheless. It meant so much to me. So I've made out amazingly well. My wife just the other day, she wanted to get me something for Christmas. She knew I was down because of Oliver, and so she went through my little list. I have a little list in my drawer in my coffee table, and I have all the games this year that I want for the PS4. I've got them all written down. I got like Metro Exodus and Sniper Elite, V2 remastered and stuff like that. And she knew that this was on the list with a little asterisk by it. So she knew this is one of the ones I wanted. I don't know what she paid for it. I have no idea, but she got me this, and I showed this in my community page thing. And this is a deluxe edition, which apparently comes with this huge DLC expansion pack, which is like $15 on the PlayStation Store, which I didn't even know it had. And I looked on, once I blew the game up, it says, oh, you also have downloaded the expansion pack for it, so it's all included. And that's Mutant Year Zero Road to Eden. If you love XCOM or love like Wasteland 2, Wasteland 1 or 2, or the Wasteland 2 Director's Cut that I have, you will love this. It's more streamlined. It's kind of like between like a looter system exploration game like Borderlands and XCOM combined. It's a little bit more simplified, kind of a real-time strategy and an RPG at the same time. And you play as in the future, most of the humans are wiped out, and there's been mutations of animals that are more humanoid. So there's like a fox, a wild boar, and a duck you can play as. And then there's male and female characters you meet, and they have weird mutations. And so you're kind of like special powers or mutations that you can do, which help you in combat situations. Plus you have weapons. There's silent weapons like crossbows and sniper handguns and rifles, and then there's other shotguns. And so it's, each character has its own mutations, which has kind of their own attributes that you can have or do or whatever. Very, very cool. A little bit more simplified. This is an excellent entry level to get into real-time strategies. It's not quite as difficult. It's a shorter game that's not as massive as Wasteland 2 as far as its world. But it's still a good-sized world. Some people can beat it in 15 hours. Some take 20 to 25 hours. There's like really hard permadeath setting, difficulties that you can do with it. So I've been watching a lot of tips videos and how to, the best way to set up your guys, and there's skill trees. There are a lot of really cool RPG stuff. The beauty of this game, like Wasteland 2, is that I can lay on my side and unload my spine to where it's more comfortable, and I can play longer than an hour in a game like this, as long as I can lay down, because it's slower pace, and you set up your guys, and then they have so many action points, and they can move forward and then shoot, and then the other enemy can shoot, and then your other guy comes up and shoots. And so you can take your time and set everything up, kind of freeze the game in a little top-down isometric view, and you set the little combat scenarios up, you watch them unfold, and then you can kind of free roam and explore and find collectibles to level up and stuff. Very, very cool game. And there's certain areas you can't go until you're a higher level. It's all that kind of stuff. I love this game. The reviews of this, even, that Matt guy, which is so critical of games, that What to Buy Games, or whatever his channel is, he did a review of this and absolutely loved it. And I think Owen Carrick did an impressions video while playing the game, and absolutely, Carrick's video of this is what sold me on it, an ACG. He did a really nice little impressions where he's actually playing through the game for just a few minutes, maybe 20, 30 minutes, and then talking about what he likes about the game, and I was instantly sold on it. Thank you, Carrick. If you ever see this, I really enjoyed your time with that game, and that's what sold me on this game. So that I've got the game installed, but I haven't played it yet because I'm trying to kind of understand the mechanics of it. Sadly, there's no instruction manual, there's no strategy guide, so you're just kind of dumped. It does have looks like it has a decent tutorial, but I like to kind of know what I'm getting into, because once you kill your guys off too early, the game's over, and you got to kind of start it over again. But anyway, that's what I got for gifts, which is just a very wonderful Christmas after all. I never expected any of this, and some of these things have been coming in for a few weeks now, off and on, and they're just all gifts from people that care. That's the beauty of it. And I've sent a few gifts out to my friends, and I still have some gifts for some of my other friends. I'm still in the process of getting to them. But it meant so much to me. Thank you so much, guys. It really means a lot. I'll quickly get into now my top 20 games of this generation. Now, some of these are going back to the launch of the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One. I'm going to break it down. I'm going to try to leave the remasters as a separate thing, because I went through my games and half of them are remasters. So I said, okay, what games aren't remasters that are this gen only, that were made this gen, that I can recommend, and games that really made an impact? And it's hard to whittle it down. I try to whittle it down to 10 games from all the ones I've played. And these are the ones that I played. Most of them I've finished. There's a few that I haven't, but I've got pretty far into them. And then I have 5 digital-only games that I got through the PlayStation Store, and I'll mention those. And then I have 5 remasters. When naturally, I could easily have a list of 10 to 20 remasters that I absolutely love. So I try to pick out just my favorites. So I'll quickly get to it. Move these over here real quick. Let me just get a sip. I'm so thirsty. Throat is just parched right now. These meds I'm on dry out my throat quite a bit too. The first one I want to mention has been a go-to game. I've got a lot of time in this game. I absolutely love this game. I think it's highly underrated. A lot of people didn't like it. I don't know why. And that's Need for Speed Rivals. This is one of 4 games I bought. Before I even got my launch PS4, I had this game. And I've got a lot of DLC for this I've slowly bought over time by Ghost Games, who's made the new Need for Speed Heat as well as Payback. They did a wonderful job on this. This has very fluid high-speed drifting, kind of like the old, Hot Pursuit game that was done back in 2010 or 11. I forget who made that one, which I have and love that one for the 360. Very fluid, high-speed racing and turns. The cops in this are brutal. I have gone and played this over and over again. I've downloaded a few gameplay videos straight from my PlayStation 4 straight up to YouTube. Wonderful game, highly recommended. It's so fun. The best police chases, I think, of any Need for Speed game. I think they're really good and very challenging. Excuse me, really hard to get away from the cops in this. Next is a game that I went absolutely crazy for, and I did a lot of gameplay, kind of gory gameplay videos. He did a montage of death camp videos, and that's Sniper Elite 3. Now this is, I think, this is the Ultimate Edition, which comes with all the DLC and all the gun packs and everything, and the the camouflage outfits. I mean, all the stuff. And the expansions on this are really good. This is an unbelievable game. I was just telling my friend Wooter of Highlander of this channel. In fact, I'll have a link to his channel below. He's been following my channel for some time. Really good friend from Holland. He loves the Sniper Elite 4. He's really hooked on it. And I said, dude, you've got to play Sniper Elite V2, and especially the Sniper Elite 3. It's so good. It's a lot like 4. 4 had a little bit more of everything. They kind of refined it even more. This was a huge refinement and even better mechanics, better visuals, everything than Sniper Elite V2. But even more so is 4. They really tweaked it and added even a lot more environmental kills and stuff like that. This is an outstanding game. I have some old gameplay footage of this with a kill cam montage. I've gone through and beaten this a few times. It is so good. And I discovered recently it's in 3D. It says right here, it says 3D. And I have my active 3D. I've never realized that. So I could play this Sniper Elite 3 and 4. I can play in 3D with my Samsung 3D TV. I have the last year of the Samsung 3D television with the active, 3D glasses. So I'm dying to play this again in 3D. Fantastic game. I love the series. This is a reason to get a PlayStation 4 right here. The graphics on this look incredible. I don't know if this was on the 7th gen. It might have been, but the graphics are much better on this. Dirt Rally. My sister got me this when I was sick, I think, a long time ago. I remember being at home in bed, or I was really ill or something. She brought this by and got it for me when the day it came out, because my Laura said, oh, he wants that Dirt Rally game. So Joe, I'll go get it for him. So she got it, brought it over. Now there's a new Dirt Rally 2.0. Sadly, you got to be, it's a server-based game. You got to be online to play it. Supposedly, you can play some of it offline. There's like the instant action. You can do but you can't do the career mode, sadly. You have to go be online only, which is just a tragic mistake. This game's a service thing is just a cancer to gaming. It really is. Because down the road, someday you're going to want to return to those games, and you won't be able to, or you'll be able to play limited aspects of them, kind of like the first Battlefront. You can play some of the maps against bots, but a lot of the good stuff you won't be able to play, like the multiplayer. But anyway, this is one of the hardest racing games you'll ever play. This is, I think it might even be better than the new one from what I've seen. The new one has really good visuals, but this is really hard. But once you get the hang of it, it's like they say it's like the Demon Souls or Dark Souls of racing games. For me, it's easy because I slowly build my speed up. I try not to wreck, and you just take your time and you go over and over and over the tracks until you slowly build your speed up like you would in a real car. You wouldn't jump in a real car and go 100 miles an hour into a turn and then wreck instantly. And that's what a lot of people do with this. They find it's too hard because they wreck too easy. You've got to take your time and build up your speed slowly like you would in real life. And that's what I like about this. It forces you to slow down and really study the dynamics of the car, setting the car up, how the car feels. Each car feels different. I can't rave about this game enough. And it has like the B Rally class, really fast, crazy death machines in the old B Rally races, like the old Audis and BMWs and stuff. It's so cool. This is a wonderful game. I absolutely cherish this. It must play 8th gen racing game. Next one is Far Cry 4. This is a limited edition. I got this at launch. It came with some extra DLC packs. I think I'm missing like the Yeti challenges. There's some, I got most of the DLC. I think there was one expansion pack I don't have I need to get, I think. But this is a wonderful game. I've got about 35 to 40 hours in this. And it's just, what I like about this everyone loves 3, and I have the digital remastered version that comes digitally on the PlayStation 4, which I love. But this game was the first one to have the gyrocopters. Before you could like parasail with those sailing, kite things, hang gliders on the Far Cry 3. This one, it has little gyrocopters, kind of like they have in the Road Warrior. But what's cool is they only have a certain elevation height on the ceiling. So you get up too high of an altitude, and then you hear this beep, 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 and the stall warning system comes on, the motor starts to die, and it starts to drop fast, and you got to like regain it and get it before it crashes. And so it's great. You try to see just the limits of how high you can go. You could get up and get off the thing, landed up on a mountain, and then discover hidden tunnels and pathways. This is a very organic. I was telling my friend Phil yesterday about this. He's never played this. I said, oh, dude, you've got to play this. It's so good. You're up in the Himalayas. It's really nice. I love it. Very colorful and very different from Far Cry 3. The same, in a way, the same but different. But a lot of hunting. So it forces you to go out of you to level up. I did all this extra hunting, because if you kill this many wild boars or leopards, whatever, you can craft a holster to hold 2 weapons, and then 3 weapons, and eventually I have the. So I went and did all these hunting missions, crafted a holster that holds 4 weapons. You can create a bag that holds more hand grenades, and so it forces you to do different things in the game, like hunting and fishing and stuff like that. And now Far Cry 5 I have, but I've never played. Who knows? Maybe that would have been on this list if I had played it and loved it. But that, like, they've got all these other planes. It's almost too easy. What was nice is that gyrocopters were hard to find and very difficult to fly. But when you get on a gyrocopter, you've got a grenade launcher with one hand, you're firing like a one-handed grenade launcher at convoys down below. It is so epic. I've laughed so hard playing this. It's such a great game. Highly recommended. You've got to play Far Cry 4. I'm sure 5 is just as good, if not better. Sniper Elite 4 I just talked about. It's pretty much more the same. Bigger open worlds, even more shit, more ways to kill enemies, many more pathways and ways to kill them. Climbing, long distance, melee, they give you so many more options. Environmental kills, you shoot this little, cable, and this pallet drops on the guys down below, stuff like that. Really cool environmental kills, like they had the Sleeping Dogs kind of. Very cool. You're up in like Italy, and this has a lot of elevation changes in this one. Very, very cool. There's some super long distance shots you can do in this that are so epic. This is just, it just gets better and better. I can't wait for the next one. I love it. And they have a new Zombie Army Trilogy 2 coming out sometime in 2020. I think maybe February. I'm not sure, in a couple months. And I'm dying to get that as well. But this is a must play. Of all the series, the Sniper Elite one is just one of the best. And this is another game I can play laying down, because you can kind of do a lot of stealth. You just sneak around, kind of size everything up with your binoculars, and you can kind of take your time. And then one by one do the shots and get out of there, hide, and come back, do shots. And so I can play this laying down. It's not as stressful on my back, which is nice. Another one, long before this back mess, when I could play an FPS game a lot longer, was Fallout 4. Now, I only played about 3 hours of Fallout 3, and it was wonderful, and I can see why everyone loves it. But my nephew loved it, and I gave it to him, and I never bought another one until recently. But this was incredible. A lot of people don't like this. They said it was too far removed from Fallout New Vegas and 3. But I really like this game. I got 144 hours in this, and I'm only halfway through the main missions, but I found every magazine, every bobblehead I have. I found every area, everywhere on the map, all the islands, up north, south, the Lowing Sea, from east to west. I found every location. It's an unbelievable, immersive game, wonderfully immersive. It's so good. And now they patched it. The last time I played it, it was in 4K with even better textures and graphics. I guess a Fallout 76 is an absolute abortion from what I've heard. And it should be. It's a games as a service model. I knew it would be shit, and it is shit. And I'm thankful, because I'm hoping they'll never have another one. Please, guys, Bethesda, keep it offline. Stick with what you do best. Do offline single-player games and make your fans happy again, and to believe in you again, like you did with Skyrim and Fallout series, the earlier ones. This is such a gem. My God, you've got to play this game. It's so immersive. The VAT system, again, I can slow down and take my time playing this. When you get in encounters, there's so many options and ways to play. You got companions you can take with you. Each one has their own side story. There's so many different sides. You can side up with different factions. It's a fantastic game. It's so good. I love this game so much. So good. Next one is Need for Speed Payback. I think is one of the best, the top 3 best Need for Speed games I've ever played. Now everyone's, oh, I've heard shit. Well, yeah, your typical jaded reviewer is going to pick it apart. The drifting is some of the best drifting I've ever done in a video game. Honestly, of all the Need for Speed games. Wonderful array of cars, great realism. I think there's a day-night cycle. It's a pretty big open world. It's kind of an empty world. That's the same thing with the new Heat one. It's somewhat empty, the open world that they do have. Not a lot of pedestrians around. But I don't care. I don't play the game for pedestrians. I play it to have fun racing. And it has great racing. I have gotten maybe 60 to 80 hours in this. I'm not even that far in the story. I just do races, challenge races, and level up. I've got tons of cars and fix the cars up just by just doing one-on-one races in the open world. So even though I haven't gone that far through the main story, I've put a lot of time into this. It's a wonderful game. I have a lot of DLC car packs for this too, like the 78 Smoking the Bandit Trans Am, 77 or whatever it is, Trans Am, the Alfa Romero. I've got a lot of really cool extra cars for this and stuff. Such a good game. Don't discount this, and I'm dying to get the new Miami-inspired Need for Speed Heat with a neon 80s theme. It looks even like more of this, more of the same. But you get a really good elevation changes in this, real tall mountains and stuff. Very cool. Wreckfest, my wife spent the whopping $40 or whatever for this when this first came out on console. This is one of the greatest racing games this generation. I have put more time into this game this year than any other game. And they just came out with a new Christmas DLC. It's fantastic. Even more new vehicles, 2 new tracks. I got the season pass I paid for separately for this. And so as the DLC comes out with new car packs and new armor and stuff, I have all the cars, all the upgrades as I get each one with the download install patch. Comes with new DLC, which I get all for free now, so or I prepaid for it. Wonderful. This was on PC for a year or so before it even hit consoles. They had a real problem optimizing it for consoles, but they finally figured it out. It's very smooth, very fluid. You can see a couple uploads I've done straight from my PlayStation 4 to YouTube. A wonderful racing game. It's just so fun. It's more like a demolition derby. It reminds me of the old destruction derby games. We can play in these banger cars and just thrash the living shit out of them. It's so cool, you know. You don't have to worry about having a pristine IMSA race car. It's more like just an old beat-up Firebird or a four-door, you know, Chevy Impala. You just beat the living shit out of old station wagons and Mustangs. It's just old Volkswagens. It's so cool. And they got a new Army truck and a monster truck in this new DLC pack. I haven't even tried them yet. This is an absolute must-play. The racing is so fun. The physics engine in this, the destructible fences and environments and tire walls, you hit the tires, bounce up in the air like real tires. The physics engine is very impressive. This is a very authentic driving, racing, sim, arcade-type game. You've got to play it. So good. Down near the end now, Wolfenstein: The New Order. I still haven't played the new Colossus yet with my back. As I can't play even this. I can't go back and play the Old Blood. I've almost finished it, but I can't even play that. I can play them in small pieces for 40 minutes tops, and I'm so tense, my back tenses up, and then I pay for it for 2-3 days afterwards. So FPS games like this, unfortunately, I can't play them right now. But if you can play it, my God, you've got to play this game. It's so good. The story and characters are so good. And the new one, I'm looking forward to it. Supposedly, it's got some SJW themes and concepts in it, whatever. It is what it is. I'm going to enjoy it anyway. The Youngblood one I won't play, though. Not into co-op, not playing as two young sisters. You couldn't have a brother and a sister. No, it's going to be 2 sisters. This is a new thing. Everything in Control, every movie. Horizon Zero Dawn, female. Don't get me, that's another rant. It's just like they're going overboard with the female protagonist. I mean, that's like almost every game now. I have no choice. So, but at least this one you can choose. It's like you play as BJ anyway, and you can pick what happens to some of the guys. You have like a black and white choice between one character or another. I think the same thing with the new one as well, the second one, but very, very good. God, this was such a wonderful, rich experience, a great story, fantastic battle pieces. They really had to love Machine Games for the source materials. One of the main level designers followed me on Twitter when I was on Twitter and watched my reviews. I felt honored and loved my reviews and was very proud of what I said about his game, which made me feel good. So fantastic. The last one, you guys already know what this is, and that's Mad Max. This is my favorite game for this generation, par none. I've got 270 hours and 4 attempts, unfortunately. And I still haven't beaten it yet. Pretty far into it, though. And I'm probably going to play it from the beginning again. It's one of the best open world games, one of the best post-apocalyptic settings and world building I've ever seen. There's things that are slowly revealed to you through the environment, very gradually. It's masterfully done. This is a sublime game. It goes over the heads of a lot of people. Yes, I'm a Mad Max fanatic. You don't count, Dean, because you get a fetish for Mad Max and the Road Warrior. Well, it's true, I do. But even still, even if you never saw the movies, you'll like this. My friend Cameron had never even seen the movies. He played, I don't know how much he played on the PC, and he absolutely loved it. Just, you can see what I like about it. A fantastic game. Melee fighting, car combat, so good. Even this car combat in this wasn't as good. Now, I played Rage 2 and got to drive the cars around for a little bit, for a few hours, and enjoy the open world in that, but this is even better. I think this is better than Rage 2 as far as the open world. And it has more things you can do in that world that make sense, that tie into more stories and stuff like that, from what I understand, than Rage 2 does. But anyway, a wonderful game. Avalanche really did it. This is the best game they've made since Just Cause 2. So damn good. Can't recommend this game enough. You can see all my tips and strategies videos, my early impressions of it, my full game review of it. I've got 4 or 5 videos of this game that I've done. A wonderful game. You can go in and see my old impressions, even, like I said, reviews of it. Just go into the little hourglass thing in my channel and just type in Mad Max, and all my Mad Max videos will come up. And you'll see. You can see how much love and affinity I have for this game. It's so well done. It's a shame that the game is so badly broken. It took me 4 patches to get past the major game-breaking bug of the map vanishing. Once a map vanishes, you lose all your waypoints, you lose all your quests, missions, everything, and the game's over. You can still drive around and do shit, but you're blind without your map. And once it, and I kept getting that bug over and over, and I'd start the game over, put like another 80 to 100 hours, then I get the map vanishing bug again, fuck it, and go back, replay it from the beginning again. And well, I didn't realize it took 4 patches. Once patch 4 came, by then I lost my gumption to play it. I just said, you know what, fuck it. And I did a video ranting, called Game Over. I was so angry. You want to see me really pissed off, watch my Game Over video on this. I still love the game, but I was so frustrated with it. And the people at Avalanche saw it. They weren't real thrilled about that video, but they understood, and they said, look, we're trying to fix it. We're doing the best we can. And they did ultimately fix it. But again, that's another rant on broken games, but that's the problem, the downside of this gen. Too many broken games were released, sadly. A lot of people whine, oh, it takes forever to download the game and install it and everything. I mean, to me, I come home from work, I get a new game, immediately put it in the PS4 and let it install. It may take a couple hours, it may take 15 minutes, but it takes what it takes. I'll take a shower, I'll watch a movie, and then all of a sudden, oh, it's done. It says, oh, it's done, it's fully installed, and then I can play it. You just have to learn to be patient. If you have patience, you can enjoy the new gen. Because once it's installed, then you have it in your hard drive. I install all my games, and I have a 4 terabyte external hard drive, so all my games are installed fully, with the patches ready to go. So when I go to play them, I can play them. Yeah, you can't play it like in the old days, you just put the game right in and play it, but it is what it is. That's the price of getting the bitchin' graphics and the high frame rates and all that. But anyway, I love my PlayStation 4 Pro, thanks to my good friend Angel, who was very kind enough to get me the PS4 Pro at launch. I still thank him to this day for that. He sent me a nice Merry Christmas text the other day. Angel, Merry Christmas to you. I hope you have a wonderful New Year. He's been so generous with me, with games and with that wonderful PlayStation 4 Pro. It means so much to me. And it's good friends like that that have kept me going and with this channel going. In times when I haven't had the income or the money. I spend very little of my money on entertainment anymore. Like I say, I spend less than 5% of my income on stuff. So that's why I have money, and that's why we have a nice house and have cars and things, because I'm careful with my money. But the downside is you can't go crazy. You got to kind of pick and choose. So I get 3 to 4 games and new games a year. I got to kind of pick and choose and shop. And I want to support all the devs and buy them at launch, but I just can't do it like I used to anymore. But I get what I can. I did get Rage 2 at launch, because I promised Tim Willis, he answered my tweet personally, and I said, can I play the game offline? He says, yes you can. He was real happy to tell me that. I said, well, thank you, Tim. I'll make sure I get this game at launch, plus the season pass. And that's exactly what I did. So I had to get my sister to help me to get it for me to buy it, thank God. But I did keep my promise to Tim Willits on that. And I guess since then, I think he left it. I think he's a CEO or something of another company now, sadly. It's a shame. It was such a great, in Raven Software too, my two favorite developers. It's so sad to see them a shadow of their former self, but I am looking forward to the Doom Eternal. It looks really good. I mean, I haven't even played the Doom 2016, which I'm sure is good. I mean, many other games could be in this list if I had played them, like Far Cry 5 or Doom. But anyway, getting on with the other things, I'll quickly get on. These are my digital games. I'll quickly go through these. Lifeless Planet. Wow. This was a PC game that was ported to the PlayStation 4. Completely took me by surprise. Very simplistic graphics. Very simple. Almost like a PlayStation 2 game. But I got lost in the music and the world building and the wonderful platformer. Just absolutely delightful. I was mesmerized. It took me a couple nights to get through it. But I went all the way through and beat it and didn't want it to end. It was so good. The next one, which there's two games, I'll put it in one category. Guns, Gore, and Cannoli. Wow. I think it's the best digital arcade game, par none there is, I've ever played. And I have Guns, Gore, and Cannoli 2, which I've seen videos of, but I haven't played. But I do have it downloaded in my hard drive. It is such a delight. I have gameplay of it. You can see on my gameplay playlist of that. An absolutely delightful platformer shooter. It's just so fun. It's such a fun game. Reminds me of Gex in the old days, the old platformer days. Absolute delight. But it's kind of a shooter, too. Shooter platformer. Kind of a 2D side-scrolling thing. It's so fun. I absolutely love it. SteamWorld Dig. There are many other wonderful games that I have and I have enjoyed, but these are my favorites. The 5 favorite digital games. Abduction, made by the guys that made Myst. The Myst series. Absolutely wonderful. I can't recommend it enough. And it's another game I can play with my bad back laying down on my side. My back's screaming right now. I gotta get another pill so this is over before I can even sit and edit this. I gotta sit and edit all those together. But Abduction, highly recommended, guys. It's so good. You've got to play it. If you like Myst, you love Abduction. It's very good. Wonderful graphics and very tough puzzles. It's a grinder. There's parts of it I got stuck on for like a couple nights on one level. It's very cool. The next one is Firewatch. I had a game-breaking thing that corrupted my save file, and I lost the last hour of the game. I couldn't play. I had to go on YouTube and watch it because my game corrupted and it forced me to go all the way back to the beginning. If I had saved in other save slots along the way and gone back like every level or so and had a save, I could have gone back to like the previous level where I had a save point. But because I kept overriding the same save all the way to the end of the game, I fucked myself. And then when that got corrupted, well, there goes my whole game. But at least I saw how the game ended, which is kind of anticlimactic. But like Solid Rev played. A walking sim. I can't get into this. It's like, dude, I understand. It's not for everyone. But I really liked it. I loved the story. I was mesmerized by the story. It has some really interesting twists in it, and it really gets you to think about life, especially as you get a little bit older like myself. Things that have triumphs and victories you've had and things that haven't gone so well. It's about life. It's a story about life. And yeah, it's a walking sim, but you are an active participant. You can pick and choose the paths and ways to go. It's a delightful game. I have a screensaver on my theme thing on my PlayStation 4, from Firewatch, and as the time of day changes, if you play it at night, it'll be like nighttime and the Firewatch theme in the background. If you play it in the day, it's like daytime. Very cool. And then the last one is Horizon Chase Turbo. A real retro throwback to the old Outrun days. Very much like an early Outrun game, like on the Genesis kind of thing. Very cool, but with contemporary music and graphics. Very mesmerizing. I know Metal Jesus loves that one too. He's raved about it. And supposedly, I think Limited Run Games made that game. You can get, probably cost a fortune. That's one I would like to get, like a Limited Run Games of this, just to have it, the physical copy is that Horizon Chase Turbo. Wonderful. There may even be DLC for that. I'll have to check into that. But those are my 5 digital-only games that I have that I really enjoyed. And there's many other ones I could list as well, but those are my favorites. All right, now getting back to my my top 5 favorite remasters this gen, and there's so many. This is really hard to nail it down. And there are many ones like the Bulletstorm one I really like, and so many others. But these are my favorites. The first one is Sleeping Dogs. This is one of the best remasters. My God, the neon alone and the environments look so much more detailed and richer, better draw distance. It's a noticeable improvement playing this over the Xbox. I thought the Xbox 360 version was absolutely stunning looking. This is a fantastic game with all the DLC, and there's a shit ton of DLC, car packs, weapon packs, extra side missions, very cool expansion packs and missions and like supernatural shit, kind of like the the Undead Nightmare for Red Dead Redemption, kind of very similar to that, but really cool shit. This game, my daughter and her boyfriend came up, and I just put this in and played it for a couple hours. They couldn't believe how good it looked. They ended up going out and buying like an Xbox One just to buy some of the games I showed them and play it. It kind of helped them get into the next gen thing. The Tomb Raider Definitive Edition. This on the PlayStation 4 only, not on the Xbox One, but the PS4, it plays at 60 frames per second, 1080p graphics. My God, it looks and plays amazing. This and GTA 5 were neck and neck for my game of the year of 2013 or whatever. A wonderful game. I've got the strategy guide for this as well. Such a good game. My God, it's so good. Beautiful graphics. I love the Tomb Raider. She's the only female protagonist I love because she reminds me of my wife. She even looks like my wife, especially the older Tomb Raiders that had the bigger bust line, but you won't go there anyway. I mean, they kind of made her small. I got to try to, have less sexist stuff in it, I guess. But it's still a great game. I love the character, the world building, everything. It's beautifully done, great platforming, wonderful tunes and puzzles, so good. Wonderful game. I love this, and I might even have like DLC expansion packs in this. A very, very good game. Burnout Paradise. Wow. This, I've got some serious time into this remastered version. This is a go-to racing game. In fact, I might have to play this again tonight. It's so good. The graphics, and it's got the updated, later they changed the billboards through patches on the Xbox 360 version. This has like all the latest patches. It's a flawless game. There's no bugs, there's no stumbling frame rates, nothing. Absolutely fluid, beautiful, high-speed racing action. Such a great game. This comes with all the cars, the bikes, all the DLC, the special cars, the Back to the Future car, everything. It's all in here. And man, does it look good. I think it's like at 4K, PS4 Pro Enhanced. It looks really fucking good. I mean, it looks amazing. This is one of the best remasters you can buy. You've got to get this game. GTA 5, what can I say? I've got maybe 6 or 7 hours back in this. I don't have the heart to and I want to play the game all the way over, but my backlog's so big I feel guilty. I've already got over 100 hours and finished try to get 100% completion of the Xbox 360 version. I'm just missing a few stunt jumps and a few flying under the bridges, and I'll have everything. I've already found every collectible in the game, everything. Done all the side missions, everything. A fantastic game. You can play in first-person mode in this. It's so good. It's such a great game. Now, I've never done the online thing ever, and I never will, but just the offline single-player campaign, you owe it to yourself. I never finished San Andreas or GTA 4. I'm exactly halfway through GTA 4. I've got probably 80 to 100 hours in GTA 4 just fucking around in it. I've got a lot of time in that game. That was one of the first games I got for my 360 in 2009. But this game, I couldn't put it down. I beat this game in a couple weeks, and like I said, I just kept playing and flying and finding every collectible. I found the submarine, every underwater collectible, everything. It's a beautiful game, and my God, it looks so damn good on the PlayStation 4 or the PS4 Pro. It's absolutely amazing. A must-get game. The final one, which I've been playing through, I'm several hours into this. I've already gone through a couple of the main, investigations. and that's the LA Noire game. This is in 4K. I think it has HDR, PS4 Pro enhanced. A beautiful experience. Now, a lot of people don't like this game, and I understand. It's not everyone's cup of tea, but if you have any affinity for old Bogart movies and late 40s investigators, you know, with a smoldering cigarette and the dame by their side, and the rich story, they created all of Los Angeles as it was back in like 1949, and it's pretty fucking accurate in a lot of areas. It's very impressive. I found every single collectible, found every automobile, truck. I mean, I like 100%ed it, a very high achievement score on the Xbox 360 version, and I'm trying to go back through it again now on this. This is what I've been going through the last 3 or 4 months slowly. And again, I can kind of take my time with the investigations and driving around and stuff. So I can play this one laying down. It's a little bit more comfortable for me to play it for longer hour-plus sessions, but very good. So those are my games, guys. That's my top 20 games. You've got 10 physical games, 5 top digital games, and then my top 5 remastered games. Let me know in the comments below, what are your favorite games? Pick out some of your very favorites. Your top 3, doesn't have to be 10. Pick out what games for you really sold you on this generation, that you just make this generation worthwhile for you. I'd love to know in the comments. I always love reading your comments, guys. I know many of you don't comment, but the ones of you that do take the time to comment, sometimes you just comment once in a while, hey Dean, you haven't commented in a while, just wanted to check in and say I love your content. You know, it means so much to me, it really does. You guys are the reason why I keep doing these videos. Even when I'm feeling down like I am now, it's because of my good friends. Not just the gifts I get, it's just the people that are nice enough to send me a text. You know, Solid Rev sent me a couple really nice texts recently for Christmas, and you know, just talking about stuff, shooting the shit, and it's just so nice to hear from people. My friend Blaze, I got a text back from him over Christmas, and it says he wants to get back together on the phone this week and just shoot the shit. And it's so nice to hear from people I haven't talked to in a while. It means the world to me, guys. Whether you text me, whether you just leave a comment in one of my latest videos or one of my community post things, it means the world to me. Thank you so much. I appreciate the likes. I appreciate the wonderful, kind comments, all the generosity. You guys have just treated me much better than I deserve. It really means a lot to me. You guys are the best. I've got wonderful viewers, and I really appreciate the good friends that I have. You guys are the best. So thanks so much for watching. Have a wonderful new year ahead, and enjoy your games.